Welcome back to Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Pham the Phabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, the Maker Exchange, on Facebook. Welcome back, guys. Alright, so today the video will be a little different. I am coming on today to just check in on you guys and find out how you are doing. So today is one of those days where I really was not planning on turning the camera on because I just don't want to do it. I've been on hiatus for the last 2 weeks. But I do want to know how you guys are doing. We've gotten through the bulk of a pandemic and we are now in the middle of a national crisis here in our country. Drop down in the comments, let me know how you guys are doing. And so I just want to be transparent. Josh's last day of school is the 15th. My plan was to get him through the last day of school. We school at home year round. He has virtual classes that he does. So I was going to, stay focused on that, get him through to May 15th, and then take a week off, and then dive deep into crafting on the 25th and flood the channel with some beautiful crafting videos. And that is not what ended up happening. Despite my best plans, the world had plans of its own, or should I say our country. So as you guys may or may not know, there's been a series of tragic events here in our country. And it has, for the most part, been the loss of lives in our Black community. And they have tragically ended at the hands of law enforcement. So while I do not want to highlight the profession in which they have perished under, which is law enforcement, I just want to say that it is just a small part of a system that makes it okay for us to be silent and invisible. So in my transparency, I'm just coming on to say that as a mom, a wife, a daughter, a stepmother, a sister, a granddaughter, and friend, neighbor, sister-in-law, as a woman of color to Black men and Black boys, it's devastating to see this happen so often. And so, no, I couldn't craft. No. No, I couldn't turn the camera on and be lighthearted. No, I couldn't do it. And I'm not that way in person. I'm not one of those people that can turn the switch on and off. And, I do certain amounts of that for my child because it's necessary, but I'm not doing that for adults. I'm not turning my emotions on and off. I have to process it, and I have to live through it, and I have to compartmentalize it and kind of get a grasp on it. And so before I can do all of that, sometimes it's best for me to withdraw so I can wrap my mind around and process what's going on. And so that's kind of where I've been. I've kind of slid off to the side, and processing things and reflecting and trying to figure out why this has impacted me so much. Now, granted, I know that the world is hurting, our country is hurting, my community is in shambles emotionally, but I needed to figure out why this hurt me so much. And I came to the conclusion, like so many other women, is that being the head of my family, the woman, the epicenter, like we are, this could very well be any one of the men in my life. My son, he's 8 years old, but in a few years, he's going to be a teen, and he's going to be just as threatening as any other Black man in America. And while he's my husband from a previous marriage has other children. And so Josh has 3 older brothers that are all adults, and they all have children of their own, and this could very well be them. They could be out running and taking a jog and have to stop and answer the questions of someone who feels it their right to ask them, ask another adult about what they're doing in a free country. So my husband could very well go into the grocery store and pay for his food with, or the groceries with, money he just got from a check he cashed at, um, one of the client's banks, or whatever, and could be handed a fraudulent dollar, a dollar bill, and unbeknownst to him, could be arrested. The rest would be bad enough because he tries to live his life by the book, an upstanding citizen. Um, but all it takes is for one small little mishap, and the worst isn't you could have a criminal record. The worst is you could be dead. And that is the fear of black women across this country. Now, granted, yes, the fear is heightened for every black man, but every black woman, that's her brother, that's her nephew, that's her husband, that's her father, that's her child. And I would not wish burying a child on my worst enemy. And yet there are mothers that time and time again, this is what we see in our country. Mothers who have to bury their babies, and granted they're adult babies, but they're babies nonetheless, behind something that is unjustified and unwarranted. And we are left to kind of heal, help heal, be silent, and not given the permission to grieve out loud. And so with the tragic loss of the young girl, the EMT, and then you have the Ahmaud Arbery here in Georgia, and then you have George Floyd, it's exhausting. It is exhausting to carry around that amount of pain and not have any outlet for it. And mine, thank God, is prayer. It is conversations with my husband. It is conversations with my friends, some friends who are willing to listen. And then there's also reflection and reflecting inwards, But I do a lot of praying because it's important that I center myself and that I don't carry this daily, that I leave it with my God for Him to take that pain, because I can't raise a child in fear. I can't raise a child with that much anger that I felt. I can't raise a child in a loving home when I have hatred in my heart. So I have to let it go so that I can be the woman that I'm called to be and designed to be, so that I can flourish and blossom. And so I was inspired to turn the camera on when I watched a video by Shayda Campbell. And it's called Flowers of One Garden, and I'll post the link to that video down below, and her hashtags Black Lives Matter. Thank you, Shayda, if you're watching, for being bold enough to stand in solidarity with our community, for publicly declaring yourself as an ally. I want to thank you, and I ask that any of my fellow creatives that are not Black or not African American or not women of color or men of color, that if you are courageous enough, feel free to drop down in the comments whether or not you're an ally or that you support the movement, or or that you stand in solidarity with us as we claim that because all lives matter, Black lives matter too. We say that all lives matter, but it comes into question when we turn on the TV and we see a mother having to bury another child unjustified, without explanation, and she's left to mourn another life. We question whether Black lives matter when justice is not served for those who these children die at the hands of. And so again, I'm going to drop a link down to her video. Her video is called Flowers of One Garden. And what my takeaway from that is that this world is the garden, and we are the flowers. And much like any garden, the beauty comes from the diversity that we see and the purpose of each different flower. Roses are beautiful, but if all we ever see are roses, how boring life would be. Tulips are one of my favorite flowers, as is calla lilies. But if I'm only in a garden of calla lilies, it's going to get boring. The beauty comes in the flowers that are on varied lengths of stems and vines and trees and blossoms and varying shades of color and the different textures and the leaves and the different shapes of the petals. That's where the beauty comes in, when you can see the contrast in between each one. All of them are beauty, but how much more beautiful they are when they stand in contrast to a different flower. And so take a look at Shayda's video, and let's celebrate the community right now. If you feel compelled to, and if you want to join me in, it ain't Black History Month, and it don't have to be Black History Month in order for you to patronize a Black-owned business. But I think if there was ever a time that we want to show love to women who pour their heart into what they do, now would be a good time to tell a woman of color that is in our craft community that I see you, I stand with you, and oh, by the way, girl, here's $5 for that digital kit. You know, I'm not going to plug Livie's Lovelies. As a matter of fact, please don't go visit them. Visit my Etsy shop after seeing this video, because one, I don't keep a lot of stuff in there. A lot of what I create, I create to gift away, or I'm creating to fulfill an order. So my Etsy shop has a few digitals in it, some jewelry in it, but I don't put a lot of stuff in there. So if you want to support a Black-owned business, here are a few that you can check out. You have Rochelle of Scrapcraftastic, scrapcraftastic.com, and her YouTube channel. She also have Journal Life's Journey, that's her YouTube channel. You have Tam of Tam's Journals, that's her Etsy shop. She also have Bible Journaling on a Budget here on YouTube. Those are two different channels, by the way, Tam's Journals and Bible Journaling on a Budget. You have Faith from Faithful Mess. She has an Etsy shop that does washi tape booklets. You also have one of my favorites is Liz from Liz for a Day. She's here on YouTube, and her Etsy shop is Pleasant Creations. And if you know of any shops, drop it down in the comments. Any Black-owned businesses, that you want to plug or support, feel free to drop it down in the comments. Any shops or YouTube channels you want to just show their name. I don't know if you can put the link in, but you can actually put the name in, and then we can go Google it or whatever. But I just want to show love to our community best way I can. And honey, the dollar speaks, doesn't it? I want to thank you for watching. And if I've never meant it more than any other time, I mean it when I say, until we're back here again on YouTube, guys, stay encouraged, stay blessed, and please stay creative and crafting. And oh, by the way, I will be working on the Victorian Women of Color journal over the next few videos. So stay tuned. This kit, as I mentioned before, was created by Pham. I believe her name is Tracy from Pham. And I love the fact that Tracy, although she's not a woman of color, she stepped outside of her comfort zone and created something that really does celebrate women of color from a different era, which is something that you do not see here in the craft world. So Tracy, if you're watching, thank you. Oh, and one more channel that you can check out is Mindless Crafting. That's Bill and Tracy, mindlesscrafting.com. They have beautiful polymer stamps. I love them. And they have a wonderful, inspiring channel. So, again, guys, thanks so much for watching. And I really look forward to connecting back with you. Let me know how you guys are doing, how you are staying uplifted and inspiring. What song do you have in your heart right now? And I'm praying for my family, my country, my community, and the allies. And make sure you guys go out and vote with your hearts, not with your taxes in mind, on June 9th. All right? Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community, and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.